Oh, well, hello, all my wonderful, beautiful broskies, the wonderful, beautiful broskies of the Maverick Nation. You guys may be wondering, considering what I did before, you may be wondering, may not be wondering, who knows? Why exactly this is in the middle of the 3 series rundown, 3 or 4, considering, if you consider Dark Shadow Maverick World Adventures a part of that lineup. So 3 or 4 we're considering what you consider a part of that lineup. Well, this is in the midst of that. And what exactly this is? Well, you guys have eyes. I mean, I assume you can read the title. But even then, you may not fully understand. Allow me to tell you. This is, what if Rainbow Dash was the first pony to discover Chakra? This is basically going to be like, not exactly like Kaguya's situation where she ate the Chakra fruit. Well, it's going to be like that in the fact that she is going to do something similar, but it's not going to end up like what happened to Kaguya, basically Hagoromo and whoever the hell the name of his brother was, pulling some shit on her because she was cray-cray and tried to take back all the chakra. Oh, why do these taste like pistachios? They don't look like pistachios. If they taste like them. Um, Basically, what I mean is, well, I'm gonna set the scene for you guys. Seeing as Rainbow is my favorite pony, and hello, she's on the thumbnail. I mean, come on, guys. Let's use our noggins here. Think tanks. Basically, yeah, that's Baby Ruth, and this is Snickers. What happens? It's been a pretty shitty day for Rainbow. Just like how with Naruto in the beginning of the anime, she's pretty much failed the Wonderbolt exam again. So close to her dream, yet so far away. Not really feeling like hanging out with her friends. She just goes off to some secluded area to just be alone. She doesn't even want to go back to her house because all of the Wonderbolt memorabilia from whenever she was just a tiny pony, it would just make her even more sad. However, not looking where she's flying, she ends up flying herself into the midst of the timber wolf. You know, basically the everfree forest where all the timber wolves are. And also some other shit. It's really bad. Big no. Big no. And by the time Rainbow actually realizes this, it's actually already starting to get really freaking dark. And that just makes it worse. And soon enough, Rainbow is surrounded. As if her day couldn't get any freaking worse. Not only did she fail the Wonderbolt exam, but now she's going to die. That is until she sees a fruit hanging from a tree. It looks like the fruit is made out of pure light energy, or some sort of light magic. Not like Yagami, but light magic. And it seems so pure and yet so amazing with power. And Rainbow Dash, pretty much, the only reason why she isn't just able to fly out of there is because, well, it's an endless forest, and, well, even if she were able to get out of there, she's probably so lost by now that she probably wouldn't even know where her home was. She probably wouldn't even be able to find Cloudsdale all that good. So, yeah. Rainbow Dash goes to just snatch the fruit-looking thing. And, well, sort of like a last meal type of thing, you know, for, like, prisoners. Like, where, like, in certain prisons, you got the last meal before they kill you. You know, I don't think all prisons do that, but I know some do. Like, your last meal, it can be anything you want, basically, because it's your last meal. And Rainbow Dash kind of takes it as a sign of that, like, this is our last meal. D.S.M. And Rainbow Dash herself doesn't exactly know why that her last meal just so happens to be a quasar-shaped apple-looking thing. And she doesn't even know what it's gonna freaking taste like, but right now she doesn't even really care. She just knows that it's basically probably the equivalent, the closest equivalent she can find. Basically, it's her last meal. And so she just decides to eat it. And then all of a sudden, burst of light. And all the Timberwolves and anything and everything else, they just run away from Rainbow Dash. Like, Rainbow Dash is like, whoa, what the heck just happened there? And basically, Rainbow Dash will actually get an answer from some sort of, like, a silhouette-looking thing. And the answer would be, oh, I didn't know I'd get a contract so soon. It had been a while since that one universe had its sun explode and the solar flare killing everyone and everything. I didn't know that I was going to get a contract so soon. And thus you summoned me forth to give the power a Chackra. And I'm gonna be like, what? And there will just be this in-depth, like, explanation. Basically, the silhouette figure would exclaim that their name was Hiraishin, or Hiraishino, or well, Hirashimo. Basically, that's what his name would be, like Hirashimo. And well, he basically explained that in the past there was this place known as the Ninja World. In the Ninja World, basically, he would describe pretty much in a way that Rainbow could understand, and that probably any pony can understand, at least just a little bit, the most possible, like, how much he could explain of the Ninja World whenever it was still around, before that big supernova hit. You know, the sun exploded, basically. That's basically what's gonna happen, you know. Eventually, sun's going to explode. Yeah. And kill everything. And that's basically what happened. And Hirashimo does indeed explain that his full name is actually Hirashimo Otsutsuki. And that, unlike, you know, his predecessors, his other members of his clan, you know, Ishiki, Momoshiki, Kinshiki, and even Kaguya Otsutsuki herself, the creator of all Chackra, on Earth, or their Earth, basically. Yeah. Basically, he would just explain that, well, he was more or less the spirit of a dying off quasar of just this unnatural chakra. So that, you know, whenever he would be reborn again, he would be reborn as sort of a summoning contract for the very next person to introduce chakra to whatever world that this person was from. So basically, say Hiroshima ended up in the My Hero world. The My Hero world would have chakra. And say he ended up in freaking Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball would have chakra. Because he'd basically be summoned forth to absorb himself into the person that summoned forth him by eating the fruit present, you know, that was presently on that tree. Basically, by eating it, you know, eventually summoning him forth, and thus he would absorb himself into them, giving them the ability to basically be, you know, claim the title of the first of whatever kind to, you know, discover chakra. Like, they may not technically be the first to actually discover it, but more or less the first to actually discover it of their kind. You know, because, like, the first to discover the Naruto world was Kaguya, because she had the chakra fruit, the chakra fruit. And thus, that's how every single time it would be rediscovered, that's how it would happen. The person, whoever it was, would eat the newly, like, created chakra fruit, and then they would basically rediscover chakra for whatever world that they were in. Kind of like chakra fruit reincarnation. And it just so happens that Hirashin, or Hiroshima Otsutsuki, just so happened to be the only one of the Otsutsukis to not be an absolute asshole or bitch in Kaguya's case. And, you know, took up the, you know, mantle to be the one to basically be the spirit of the reincarnating chakra fruit. You know, he would be the one responsible for the reincarnation of the chakra fruit each and every time. Hirashima Otsutsuki. And well, basically, now telling Rainbow that she is technically, in all, you know, terms of the whole agreement thing with each and every time that happens. Technically, that makes her the first ever pony to have discovered Chackra. And so, she's basically the Kaguya of her, realm of existence. And, Hiroshima, just in order to help, help Rainbow digest all of this, goes on to explain further the rules of the chakra fruit and, well, basically everything else that, is able to before just completely absorbed into Rainbow. And, well, one of the first things that she begins to really notice that sticks out to her is that the first two people that really she'll have gotten any influence from, chakra-based attacks or chakra-wise at all. Basically what I'm saying is, in terms of, jutsus or kekkei and that shit, is what I mean. The what ifs, what if Naruto had, was a Senju, or what if he was a Chiha, or what if he had Hashirama's memories, or what if he was Madara's son, that kind of stuff, basically has those powers. Basically, the first actual set of powers that she would get would be basically the powers of the different fire shadows. And, people, I guess you could say people close to them in certain ways. Which is basically Hiroshima exclaims that it's actually two people that she will get first, abilities from. And that they were actually kind of friends, even though they were, belonging to opposite sides during an area of the ninja world known as the Warring States period. And that these two people are known as Hashirama Senju, the Shodan Hokage, also known as Shodan Fire Shadow, because that's what Hokage means, and Madara Uchiha, also known as the Ghost of the Uchiha eventually. And, one of the contenders for the title of God of Shinobi, just as much as Hashirama was a contender for that title, of their time, because eventually Hiruzen would get that sort of status. He had several titles, Hiruzen did, and one of them was, for his time, God of Shinobi. And, also that Hashirama was one of those people, and that Madara was one of those people who just, for that time, kind of got the reputation as a god of Shinobi, or the god of Shinobi, because of just how redonkulous their power was. And that she might also get some added benefits from the fact that Hashirama actually had a brother, that was still alive, that actually killed Madara's brother. And this brother would eventually go on to be the Nidaime Fire Shadow, or Nidaime Hokage. And that this person was Tobirama Senju. And, might actually get some benefits from that side. Alongside, just the Hashirama Madara build. Anyways. And so just being told it's the first kind of buff she's going to get. And, basically would ask Hiroshima, could she, just like how Kaguya did, give to others? Is she going to be the only one, or can she do exactly what Kaguya did? Or at least something similar? Or maybe something even better. And Hiroshima was technically, since you're the first one to have discovered chakra in your universe/realm, you can do whatever you freaking want with it. I mean, I can't really stop you. I'm really being absorbed into you right now, so I can't really do anything to stop you. I'm pretty much have too much of my form gone now to do anything to stop you. So you can do whatever you want. It's your business, whatever happens afterwards. Or before then. Whatever happens, just know it's your power, and like a certain, comic book would insist, with great power comes great responsibility. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. Hiroshima Otsutsuki just, showing more how he's not like his other Otsutsuki brethren. Because he's actually a nice guy and actually is a good person. Because, he agrees with the saying in the Spider-Man comics, like, Uncle Ben, what he said to Peter, with great power comes great responsibility. And now Hiroshima is telling this to Rainbow. Like, with her great power is going to come her a great responsibility. What she's going to do with that power. And Rainbow was actually kind of, spooked by how, easy she's able to comprehend that and how fast she was able to comprehend it. Like, the whole great power, great responsibility shit. And, well, she's like, maybe there's more than just the chakra and different jutsus and stuff that I get from the Madara and Hashirama duo, plus maybe some added Tobirama, if I'm maybe lucky, maybe not lucky, considering what his thoughts on the Uchiha were. Tobirama's kind of love-hate relationship with Uchiha. Oh boy, that's a stinger. That love-hate relationship is probably the reason why Izuna's even dead. Rip Izuna Uchiha. Oh, good God. Anyways. So yeah. Rainbow Dash would just be coming to, some conclusions on some things. Like, what exactly she's going to do. With this, great power that she now has. First of all, she would want to make sure that nothing the princesses could do could, mess this all up. Possibly even get her arrested or worse. For whatever reason. And, it wouldn't just be Hiroshima, because, Hiroshima would already be fading away. Probably one of the last things that he would tell her is about the fact that, just like him, Madara, Hashirama, Tobirama, even, would indeed be there to guide her. She wouldn't be alone in this. She would have people to help her, take the wheel, and all that shit. Like the song, Jesus, take the wheel. Or was it God take the wheel? I don't freaking know. Or maybe I do, maybe I don't. Basically. Yeah. Rainbow Dash would be having to think hard on this. And eventually she would come to the conclusion, as she was eventually finally able to get to her home, that screw being a Wonderbolt, she's gonna carve her own destiny, which isn't gonna be a part of this stupid shit that she once thought, becoming a Wonderbolt. She isn't even interested in that anymore. What she's interested in is these new possibilities given to her, and the fact that she won't be alone in this. Like, just beyond her friends, there will be others coming along to help her, with this new power and great responsibility that she has on her now. And then she would just hear, interesting. Don't you think so, Hashirama? And she would just look behind her and see Madara Uchiha and Hashirama Senju. And Tobirama just being in the corner, like, sulking. Because, he really does not like the fact that Madara's even in the same room as them. He just really does not like Madara. Which he has plenty of reason not to like him. I mean, come on. Literally. I mean, Jesus. Basically, after Rainbow finally takes us all in, and begins to kind of finally, basically, whenever Rainbow Dash is finally able to, kind of push stuff together, she's finally just able to actually communicate with Hashirama, Madara, and even eventually Tobirama, even though that proves to be especially hard to do, considering, the fact that most of the time he's just sulking in the corner, being a basic bitch. And, well, it's because of all the training that Rainbow does indeed learn several important things. And actually, let me think about this. Somewhere off in the distance, not too far off, but not too close to home, to where what she was about to do would be noticeable, or what Hashirama Madara, or even eventually Tobirama were about to do would be noticeable. Somewhere far off enough, but not too far off as to where they would get lost. Just a training area Rainbow would find. And we'll just be like, okay, this will be our training area. And Hashirama and Madara would be like, okay, let's do this. And even Tobirama would have to be like, well, at least she actually thought about that. It may not be too bad. And considering all relations, there are actually certain things. Rainbow actually knows quite a bit whenever it comes to elemental affinities. The three most prominent with her being, actually technically, she would know all five. But there would be more prominent ones than others. Of course, there will be fire because, well, hello, Uchiha, Madara. And there would be earth and water because earth and water mixed together makes wood release. And Hashirama is known for his wood release. And also water because like I said, would release, and Tobirama's ability to use water style jutsu without there even being a nearby water source at all. Like, he was like OG water release, like water style user. He was the OG. So yeah, water, earth, and fire would be like the most main. And then, well, because of several connections with the Ninetales that Madara has made, the Ninetales grants, the power of, like, fire style and wind style. Rainbow would have a good, marksmanship for the wind style. So that's fire because Madara and, the Ninetales. And, well, water because water is half of the whole thing for wood release, and also Rama's ability with water style. And earth because earth is the other half for wood release. I think the only thing that's missing is lightning. But honestly, well, considering she's basically going to be the originator of this whole existence realms, like a version of Chackra, yeah. While it may come a little bit harder for her than other things, because like seeing as Kurama as like both fire and wind as something that has, wind would even come easier for her than lightning. Lightning would be the only thing that would really be anything of a challenge. And maybe wind also because, fire is really because the fact that not just the Ninetales, but also, Sharingan users' main thing is fire. And guess what, guys? Madara is a Sharingan user. He's a Uchiha. So yeah, basically, the hardest thing for a Rainbash to probably get would be Lightning Style or Raiton. Well, technically, Rainbow Dash is always flying through the sky, and so she could need to collect some, elemental stuff to, like, help with her control whenever it comes to lightning style. And plus, she uses clouds for that shit all the time. And so she could just use, like, muscle memory from her experiences with that, of everything, to just figure out a way to, you know, actually be good at lightning style as well. Raiton. So yeah, we have Dogen, also known as Earth Release. We have Katun, also known as Fire Release. Earth style, Fire style. We have Sweden, also known as Water style. We have Futon, also known as Wind style. And we have Raiton, also known as Lightning style. So we have basically like the equivalent of a Rinnegan user, because people that have the Rinnegan can use all 5 of the elemental, like, affinities. And considering who's teaching her, and the muscle memory shit with Raiton, lightning release, like a lightning style, she is already still pretty good. With the only possible questionable thing being, Futon or wind release, wind style. But hey, Kurama covers that, Ninetale Fox covers that. And technically, Madara's experience with said Ninetale Fox would indeed cover that. So yeah, she's good with all 5 of the affinities. Now, how exactly about mixing them? I mean, water and earth to make wood style would indeed come naturally. Because all of drama here, and just like an overly strong like affinity for water in general, like Sweden water style. Because Toby Rama, hello, dude can use freaking water style without even there being a nearby water source. So yeah, I'd say not only the water from the Hashirama would release, earth and water being needed for that, but also, Tobirama and his batshit insane level of like being awesome with freaking water style. Or as I would also say, Sweden. So yeah, basically earth style and water style, basically because wood style, I mean hello Hashirama. And Madara, that's basically a fire style. Because Uchihas and their whole fire style thing. And basically, other stuff is being done except for just the elemental affinities. Because Hashirama and Tobirama and Madara, all 3 of them know that she's good at all the affinities, so they don't even need to go with the Chackra paper shit. They already know. So, what's the real point in doing that? I'll tell you, there is no point. Because she's already good with all of that, so there is no point. Plus, she is literally going to be the originator of Chackra for this, reality. This realm's version of, the original Chackra user. So basically, this realm, this reality's version of Kage Otsutsuki. Only not as much of a bitch. So, yeah. Basically, what would be focused on next is chakra control, just in general. Tree walking, water walking, that stuff. Oh, and once tree walking, water walking were down, what else? Oh yeah, the Academy 3, Bunshin, Henge, Henge being the transformation jutsu, and Bunshin being a clone jutsu of any type, really. And, well, oh yeah, substitution. There's substitution, transformation, and the clone jutsu. Like any type of clone. So yeah, basically the Academy 3, and also different types of training in all sorts of different stuff. Like Kenjutsu, Fuinjutsu, Senjutsu, eventually. Even that. I mean, Hashirama has it, so why not? Freaking Senjutsu. But Kenjutsu and Fuinjutsu, because Fuinjutsu because the good relations that Uzushi Yogakur and, Fire Country basically have with each other. The Leaf and the Whirlpool basically had good relations. So, yo, basically, yeah, that. So that's why Fuinjutsu and Kenjutsu, well, I mean, swords are awesome. And just weapons in general, I mean, that would be pretty cool. And, Nenjutsu, Genjutsu, and Taijutsu would all be good things. So pretty much Rainbow Dash is set for now. And day in, day out, she would, be taking trips to the training field and not really focusing any of it on her Wonderbolt training. That's basically because she would have given up on the whole Wonderbolt thing. And, be 100% devoted to not just, saving the world whenever, like, the elements of harmony were needed, but she would have kind of like a 50-50 like devotion. 50% devotion to that, and 50% devotion to her job as like basically the discoverer of Chackra for this realm, this universe, this existence. She's basically there, Kaguya, without the bitch part. With the bitch part taken out. And eventually it would get to the point to where, it would actually be more of the complex shit. Hashirama and Madara and Tobirama even, I was really expecting her to go this far and, this fast. And what I mean by that is, well, Rainbow Dash would just be there and be like, Heaven, conceal! And, freaking meteor just come out of the freaking sky and be like, whoop-boosh! And yeah, don't think that some pony wouldn't, notice that. And then we're getting basically a letter upchucked by a certain dragon that would basically be Princess Celestia and Princess Luna, and even Princess Cadence, pretty much writing to them, did you see that meteor? Like, holy shit, that was not us. So yeah, they weren't playing ping pong in the freaking sky. Celestia and Luna are a lot more responsible than that. Cadence wouldn't even dare to try to mess with their shit. She knows better. And Twilight especially knows better. Twilight just being like, holy shit, if that wasn't them, then who the hell is summoning meteorites out of the freaking sky? It's almost like they just pop into existence. And yeah, basically, this would have just basically been the moment whenever Maru would just basically be like, he'd just be like walking up to Rainbow and like ruffling her mane and being like, well, Rainbow. You do indeed seem to have outdone yourself. And, Rainbow had just gotten used so much to their company. Eventually, she would just start, basically, yeah. Seeing as Tobirama is kind of there, Hashirama's brother, it wouldn't really feel right. However, Madara's there, and Izuna isn't really there. He's kind of not there at all. So with Ramdash, it would feel less awkward, seeing as his brother isn't right there. Being on judgmental stares on her ass. And so she's kind of gotten used to calling Madara, seeing as, like, they're such great company, Madara, Hashirama, and even Tobirama somewhat, great company to her. She ended up one day calling Madara Tusan. Yeah, like, she would literally say Madara Tusan. Or sometimes, like, not even say Madara Tusan, like, just say Tusan. And, like, just, like, refer to Hashirama and Tobirama, and, like, she would refer to Hashirama normally, but she would call Tobirama Tem. And Hashirama would just burst out into laughter. Like, first she ends up calling you Tusan, and now she's calling my brother Tem. Like, Jesus Christ. That's hilarious. You gotta admit that, Madara. That is hilarious. And Madara would indeed, kind of warm up to the title. So, eventually, it would kind of like stick like that. Like, it would be something that would stick. Regardless of several, like, past things in the past. Like, Rainbow will just know, like, seeing as she never really does visit her father anymore. And, well, she doesn't even want to think about her mother. So, yeah. Plus, I mean, if no one else knows, like, it can't really hurt anyone. So, yeah, she just, like, and if anyone was ever around that she was actually able to catch, she would actually just refer to Madara as Madara. But whenever they're just alone, she would call Madara, Tusan. And Madara by now would have just accepted it. Because he had never really had a family all that much, like, in the terms of, like, the American dream for us Americans. Those of you guys that are Americans or know about the American dream, a family in that way. Wife, kids, or husband, kids. And, technically, even though Madara doesn't even have a wife still, in the way that Ramadash is saying it, she does indeed believe herself to be in that kind of way with Madara, and Madara is just like, he'll accept it. I mean, this is the one time he's gonna get it, so he'll accept it. And, well, basically, Twilight would follow the, sort of like the, magic signature, or at least what she would think was magic. It was, of course, a signature, but she would think it would be magic whenever it's actually chakra that she's sensing, and not even knowing it. And basically, what she would find at the end of the signature, she would find where the meteorite landed, and basically, she would find, well, Rainbow Dash talking to what looked to be like is that even 3 humans? And she seems to be calling one of them Tusan. Like Madara Tusan. Or just Tusan in general. And considering that Twilight knows that Rainbow already has a father. Yeah. And, these people look shady as frick and frack. Yeah, she's gonna do something about this. Or at least that's what she thinks until she hears Sweden, Waterfall no Jutsu. And basically, and Twilight would just be like, whee! Like, what was that? And Rainbow just is like, that's for sneaking up on me. And Twilight would just look at Rainbow and then look at the rainbow over there with Madara and be like, what the? Who the? When the? Where the? Why the? And Rainbow would just be like, if you must know, just punch me. And Twilight would be like, okay. And then just punch. And be like, poof. And Twilight would just be like, what? Like, Nani? And Hashirama would be like, great job, Rainbow. You were able to create a successful Kage-Bun, like Kage-Bushin. No prob. And while also talking to Madara. And, Rainbow Dash would just be like, oh, thanks, Hashirama. And, Twilight would just get out of the waterfall and would just be like, what was that? What is all this? What, when, where, what, did, what, why? And, Rainbow Dash would be like, I know when it was going to come to this. You saw Heaven Concealed, didn't you? And Twilight would be like, wait, what? Have what? And basically Rainbow Dash would just explain that she was training on the Jutsu Heaven Conceal. Basically how that meteor popped out of freaking nowhere. That was Heaven Conceal. And that currently, while she was talking to Madara, she was also in secret not only making a Kage-Bushin because she had sensed somebody or somebody, but not only while making the Kage-Bushin, she was also doing something else. That being, like, not only just talking with Madara, but while talking with Madara, not only making the clone as well, but also doing something like a third thing, and that being practicing the Jutsu, creation of all things. Yes, she can even do creation of all things. Or at least she's training to be able to master it, and perfect it. Like, she's mastered and perfected Heaven Conceal, even to the point where she can make the second one perfected, as a second meteor. And she's on her way to not only mastering, but perfecting creation of all things. And she was basically doing that while talking to Madara, and also making a Kage-Bushin no Jutsu, a clone, shadow clone, to just use Waterfall Jutsu, like Sweden Waterfall no Jutsu, to make sure that Twilight didn't bother them more than she already was. Bothering Rainbow's training. Because if she can, keep hold on creation of all things while, doing other things, like talking to her Tucson, things like that, plus how much Chackra creation of all things already uses up, regardless, she's pretty sure that she'll be able to soon enough perfect creation of all things. Yeah, she has been grinding herself with these, training. like I said, 50%, being the element of loyalty, 50% being, the Sochi of Madara Uchiha. Sochi. Kusan and Sochi. And, Twilight would even be like, hello, you already have a father. And Rainbow Dash would actually be like, correction, had a father. Tubby just tell her already. And Tommy Rama would be like, just be like whistling off to the side and be like, I don't know what you're talking about. And Rainbow Dash would just flare up her killing intent beyond what even like Hashirama was able to do back whenever it was like all of them in like the war arc. Yeah. She'd be flaring up major amounts of killing intent, and now Twilight all of a sudden would just be pressed up against the ground and be like, what the hell is this? Like, what am I feeling? And then Monero would just answer with pure killing intent. And, Tobirama would be like, okay. Just stop doing that. And then Rambo would just knock him over the head with something and be like, Baka. And Tobirama would be like, okay, I deserve that. And Hashirama was like, at least he admits it now. And, Tobirama would kind of be like, you too, brother. And he'd just be like, fine. I'll inform your friend about what happened with your previous Tucson. And basically, Tobirama would just explain what happened to Rainbow Blade. Rainbow's previous Tucson. Apparently, Hiroshima wasn't alone whenever he came to the realm of ponies. There was another, Hiroshima. And Hiroshima went basically because Hiroshima, out of the two of them, Hiroshima has shit level to be able to sense people. It's like really bad at it. And so just went looking, and basically the first place they found themselves at, actually trying to looking, like basically forcing information out of ponies, was indeed Rainbow Blade, Rainbow's previous Tucson. Yeah, I'm basically just gonna say this Hiroshima, they killed Rainbow Blade. And, well, that's why Rainbow's been training even harder. She wants to kill this Hiroshima. And, well, she only dropped the first meteor. Where do you think she's gonna drop the second one? Well, she doesn't need, Rainbow doesn't need to tell, Twilight about, interrupt Tobirama, basically, she tells her about the fact that she's actually really good at sensing, energies, and she can sense that Hiroshima has finally found them, and is about to descend upon them whenever basically Rainbow Dash just says, Heaven can seal the second one. And Hiroshima is just about to descend on them whenever all of a sudden and basically just kills Hiroshi Misaki with Heaven and Seal. And basically Twilight would be like, what was it? What the frick? Rainbow? I thought we weren't supposed to kill, elements of harmony. And Rainbow would just be like, yeah, it's kind of been like a 50-50, these, last couple, months. And Twilight wants some sort of explanation on what she's talking about, 50-50. And, basically, Rainbow just telling Twilight about how she's basically been given the title of, the new originator of all Chackra and shit. And how, Hashirama, Tobirama, and Madara are here to basically help her. And that she'll get new help in the future. While she has, voiced that she wants to keep her old help with her as well. And, well, it's not really a problem because she's getting stronger more and more. She could probably, take care of anyone who would ever want to take away her current new Tusan. Madara Tusan. Kind of, fixing an old wound by patching it up with something. Basically patching up the old wound of knowing that her father was murdered by this person by, not only replacing, another person with that title of Tusan, but, with the double dosage as well, basically just now finally killing their ass with the second meteor from Heaven and Seal. And, well, Twilight doesn't even want to know something like, how strong is she then by now? How long has she been training? How strong is she by now? Or is that top secret shit? And Rainbow just basically goes into an in-depth explanation right after getting the okay from basically everybody. Hashirama, Tobirama, I haven't heard new Tusan, Madara. Basically, after getting the okay from all three of them, she goes on to explain that by now she's probably reached the level to where she could probably even maybe not actually kill this Ford, but definitely make him suffer beyond what most natural healing of the magic of this world could probably do for him if they were ever to tussle again. Because now that she has this new power, yeah, she could probably make Discord suffer a lot before he was able to heal himself just a little bit. Yeah, make him suffer a lot. For all the times she was basically made sit on a chair with a dunce hat on. Yeah, that would be great revenge. Is what Rainbow's thinking. And, with the confidence and, vigor, you would not just believe on her face right now, Twilight is, actually thinking, maybe she's not actually lying. Maybe she actually is that powerful, and in that case, holy shit. Yeah, I probably don't want to piss her off. And more or less, Twilight just wants to know, what are the other, different attacks and different things that she can do. And, at this point, Rainbow's just like, man, Twi. There are just certain things that are better left unsaid until a certain point. Which is more or less just me telling you that, not now. Please, not now. I just need to be left to collect my thoughts. And Twilight is like, I'm gonna be a lot easier on you than the princess would be if they figured out about this. And I'm going to feel that actually I'm not going to tell them. And that's whenever Madara would turn on his Mangekyo Sharingan and Death Glare, basically just like flare up his Mangekyo Sharingan, Eternal style, and just Death Glare Twilight. And Twilight would just be like, or maybe not. Yeah, she knows better whenever someone's like that. Like, Madara was like, hell no. He didn't even have to say it. Just like, by the look in his freaking Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan blazing eyes, she could tell. It was like the literal equivalent of just saying, hell no. And so, eventually it wouldn't come time for Rainbow to make a certain announcement, it would be getting close to time because Rainbow she did indeed say that possibly, the gala's coming up. She could make the announcement at the gala so that not just those close to her, but everyone could know. I mean, like, Twilight's looking at Rainbow and she has no fear in her eyes. She said that with no fear in her eyes. And, like, with just this determined look of, yes, I just said that. Twilight, what you gonna do about it? So yeah, basically that's Rainbow's plan, just to announce it at the gala. Announce her status, and announce what she can do to anyone should, she feel like it. And even possibly introduce her, certain people. Precious people. And the fact that Tobirama was actually included in that, Tobirama was like, well, I didn't actually think I was ever going to be included in your, precious people. And, Rainbow's just like, just because we're hard on you from time to time, doesn't exactly mean, we don't like you. It's just, you could be a grumpy pants sometimes. And Tobirama would just be like, and Madara can't. There's a difference, Tobirama. And Tobirama would be like, and this difference is? And Madara would just be like, is it not obvious? And Tobirama would be like, what's not obvious? And Hashirama at this point would just be face palming. Like, oh my god, you're an idiot. Brother, you're an idiot. And Ray would have to finally just say it. He's my Tusan. It's different because he's my Tusan. And that means family. More than just any sort of connection. It's a family connection by the way of Tusan. And me being his Sochi. And Madara's like, you're damn straight you are. Now, come on. And Rambudash was like, oh, it's that time. And Madara's like, yes, it is. That time. And Hashirama and Tobirama would be like, oh, well then. Finally. More or less, it would just be like, everybody would just be sitting at a table, And, everyone except for Madara would just be like, okay, you guys, dig in. And, Tubby Room would be like, damn, Madara, I didn't know you could cook so good. And Hashirama would just be like, yeah, this is really good stuff. And Rainbow Dash is like, either of you doubting my two Sans ability to cook? Well, it's not exactly like I didn't help, but, he did most of it. And Madara's like, you damn straight I did. Yes, indeed, Madara made the food. And, Madara would be like, well, seeing as, Hashirama and Tobirama are sitting on one side of the table, there's already someone else, sitting at a table on the other side, which is Rainbow, basically meaning Madara is going to be sitting next to his Soji. And Rainbow Dash is going to be sitting next to her Tusan. Well, new Tusan. Not exactly too new, because, Madara's been, the new Tusan for Rainbow Dash for quite some time. Getting used to this whole thing. And quite liking it, actually. Rainbow Dash is actually pretty, nice whenever you get to know her. And, Rainbow Dash just thinking that Madara is, probably one of the coolest Tusans to ever have. Because he's pretty freaking awesome. And, well, basically, after all that was done, Rainbow Dash would just be about to go to bed, but she realized somebody would be following her. Basically, by the time she actually got to her bed, she would turn around and realize that her hypothesis was right. The one who was following her was her Tusan. And Rainbow Dash would be like, Tusan, why are you following me? And basically Madara would be like, oh, are you telling me you don't want me to? And Rainbow Dash is like, oh, no, not that at all. If you want to, but don't you think it's kind of weird? What about if something like what happened with Twilight happens? And Madara's like, looking around? I don't think anyone's here. Just you and me, and Hashirama and Tobirama, down there. And Rainbow Dash is like, Tusan, I know where Madara, where Hashirama and Tobirama sleep. The couch isn't that small. Okay. And just because I want to do an Undertale reference, Madara would be like, okay, this one's a classic. I've never really done this. You and your you-know-who may have done it before, but not this one. We've never this one. Wait, that book. Yeah. My other Tusan used to read it to me a lot whenever I was just a little filly. And then Madara would just be like, well then, allow me. Let's see. Cover here. Fluffy Bunny. And Rainbow Dash would just be like, Fluffy Bunny. She just literally almost be like about to fall asleep. And Laura would be like, just like, as Rainbow Dash was falling asleep, read it to her, and then just, eventually leave the room. Yeah. Come the gala, there was going to be a lot that needed to be said. And a lot of surprise ponies and other creatures of the like that would join the gala. Because Rainbow Dash be dropping bombs. And they'd be like heaven conceal size bombs. If you know what I mean. Anyways, like, favorite, subscribe, hit that little bell. Like a boss. You